Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Brought the citrus back out because a little light freeze frost last night. Did not need a fire enough. I've taken the wood stove out of the greenhouse because I don't think we're going to need it. So in my potato video yesterday, we did manage to get another 5 rows up here. I think 1, 2, 3, or 4 rows here. 12 rows total. And I planted a couple rows of spinach, and then I scattered my lettuce seed here and then some lettuce seed here for greens. So we did pretty good yesterday. And we're getting ready to go back to it. Cutting some more posts. And the girls are out. Yeah, and it's crazy how quick, well, we had snow on the ground, a week or so ago, week and a half ago. We had snow on the ground. Zoom, he goes. And just 3 days into being warm enough, these girls just have been busting out of the hives. And what's crazy is I don't know where they're getting it, but they're coming back with pollen, loaded down with pollen already. But I don't see anything budding out. There's an elm right there that's budded out, but they're all leaving and they're going that direction. So I don't know what they're getting that way, but they're doing it. They're doing well. Here in the next week or so, maybe we'll do a video and we'll go do a hive inspection and see where we stand. So T and I are getting ready to make a day of it, cutting up these posts. And we never did any more cutting. By the time we looked at the clock a couple days ago, we realized that it was what 3 o'clock, time to feed the birds, take care of the evening chores and whatnot. So everything's just sat here till then. So for now, we started this morning. We've already been getting going. We've put a new blade on here, and I am so glad I bought a bunch of them when I did. Because if I'd only had a couple blades, I'd have been sitting here with my thumb up my backside going, oh, what do we do now?
Go in there and figure and sharpen them.
Be sharpening them like crazy. So, new blade, because, we're going through bark, a whole lot of bark. It's going to be all bark cuts, just about. And we're going to see what we can do to get these done. Maybe I get a few more 1-bys. And there you go. Set for a nice day. We'll catch up with you maybe lunchtime, see how far we've gotten. Hope to have all of these done today. Don't you? I think we can. And then hopefully we can get set up with some beams and we can figure out how to roll those things over here. We don't have a cant hook yet. We need to buy one, and we're very low on the currency situation. Doggone it, I wish the local feed and supply store would take silver.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to sell it. It's funny, the physical price of the AG now, easily minimum $40, right? Yet the paper price has been pushed down
to below 25.
Or was just around 25. Something's going to break here soon.
Then you look at the U.S. debt clock, and it shows 49.15.
Yep. She likes looking at the U.S. debt clock, 49.15. She every night she says it's up to this. Every night she gets on the phone and look at what it is now. I mean, it goes up $2-3, and then it'll jump 10 or 15, and you've been watching it go over 4,000, and now we're about ready to hit the 5,000.
Well,
currency units per
dollar to gold ratio is 35 and 4 something, I think.
Yeah.
35,000.
35,000 and 4,900. I wish that were the case. We'd do some serious shopping.
You goofy.
I tell you what, if I had some Bitcoin right now, I'd be spending it. I'd be converting it into real tangible assets, because yes, Bitcoin may go up, but we don't know when this thing ends. And when it does end, if you've got anything digital, it's poof, gone.
Well, we'll see where it goes.
I don't I like the ideas of cryptos, but I think in the real end, when people go, okay, it's either real, like this, like that, like that. If it's not real, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, it's off to do some cutting, and we'll catch in around lunchtime. Maybe see how much we've gotten done. All right, it's about 9:30. We've gone through. We've made 3 more posts. Gone through 3 logs, and check this out. Oop, pardon me as I get that straight. Look at that. It is probably just a 22. That's lead. Fortunately, lead isn't something that it's going to mess up the chain, or not the chain, the blade very much. But this hard dry wood, that first log that we had up there at White Oak, which was the lower half of that one, right? Yeah, that one right there. And it was dry and hard, and blade just kept wanting to rise up off of it. I had to slow way down on my push through. Matter of fact, there was one cut, if I can find it, nice looking wood, but I'd push forward. You're not supposed to back up on it, but I'd slowly, gently back up, and you can see the little notches in it, because for whatever reason on this wood, the lower teeth weren't cutting as much as the upper teeth, and the blade kept wanting to raise up off the cant. So I noticed that on this one, and then that's when I started backing up, and you can see that right here, because notice how thin it is here in the middle. Well, not too different, but didn't do that on the next log. The next log didn't do that, but this wood is hard. I mean, it's really hard. Now that's a nice board. I can run that through the planer, clean all that up, and make something nice out of that particular piece. But you can almost, I don't know if you can see it, but it's a little concave right here. When I first cut was riding up. That was the first log, and it was a brand new blade, and it wanted to do that. So, as much as I know about the techniques, there's still a skill set that we all gain in the knowledge of how wood behaves, how the blades behave, how your specific machine behaves. And we've watched a lot of deviations, haven't we? A lot of weird things in the way it wants to cut. But that's something you only get by doing it. So I can tell you the recipe. You do this, and this. But you won't gain an understanding until you've done it yourself quite a bit. So lots of goodies here. Still got a lot of work to go. It's 9:30, 9:45. And we got a bunch more of these to go through. Whew. It's fun, but it's physically. You
gonna hold shadow?
And I've observations and learning. I like this guy's construction, But there are modifications. I don't know, I may call Mike up and say, hey, you might consider this, like maybe a shorter bolt right here. That thing has tore up my shin several times. I back up and get going and my shin hits it, and including that one, you know, the leg right there, the jack leg. Jack leg. And so what else? Yeah, a lot of learning. There's some modifications that I would consider doing. Definitely some modifications on some of these things, but I got to observe more. I always like to improve. Anyway, short little update. Finding bullets. I figured we might find one or two. Because we did, y'all remember, we sat up there on the front porch or up there in the garden, and before any of this was cleared, we put a target right here, about where the pigs are, somewhere in that area. Yep. And we shot the 223 and the 22 and a whole lot of stuff down here. And I know there was a couple of trees, and I think one of those trees might have a few wound marks on it from the, but yeah, oops. Well, the blades, the blades aren't gonna be bothered too much by lead. Lead's very soft; it'll go through it. And there you go. So we're gonna get back to it. It was, like I said, I'd like to see how many of these we can't get through today, because changing the logs is the hard part. Once you get them on there and get it cutting, it's not too difficult there, but you don't get to really pull boards off of this. All I'm really doing is making posts, and I'll get an occasional one by here or there. Most of it, a lot of it, is these slats that are going to be used for a little board fence that we're going to do in here. And there you go. What was that?
Sounded like a motorcycle or something.
Oh, somebody's way back there in the woods. Just echoed weird. All right, folks, we're going to get back to it. Hey, folks. All right, it's lunchtime. I went in and got me a little lunchtime drink. T's going to be heating up some soup. The slat pile is getting bigger. We've done, if our counter's right, we've done 8 more logs. And see, those of us who are professional homesteaders tend to also be professional at other tasks, such as woodworking. And yours truly is a highly skilled master woodworker. And for those professional homeowners that don't understand how wood moves, like that one right there, and there's another one, I don't remember which one it was, one of these others that did a little movement, not as bad, but oh, that one right there. Yeah, you just gonna, hey, you can see that one has a little, this one has a little bit of a bow in it. This one has a slight one too, but not too bad. But you see that? So us professional, I'm having fun with this, because of wisecracks that another highly known about YouTube channel has to do against women all the time. To be honest, the last hour or so, T pretty much did most of the running on this. Now, I would set the logs and I would make some adjustments, and then I'd let her do the running, and she's having a blast with it. My partner likes to come out here and do the same things as I do. So, professional woodworkers, master woodworkers, and professional homesteaders understand that. Which means, as she's cutting, and I'm watching it, and we're watching some of these bow, you have to take that into account as you're cutting, otherwise you could get disastrous. So if you're not paying attention, unlike what a circular saw blade does, this blade is more easily pushed. So on that one last cut, when that post started bowing up, hell, you can even see it. The piece that we were cutting over here, it really started curling over here. This is what came off of that. Alright, so that's the movement in wood. And if you don't know what's going on, and if you don't pay attention, hey, it could be disastrous. So, not all wood is going to move like that. Most of these logs have been sitting for some time, so they've had a chance to actually dry out in their full shape, which allows a lot of that stress just to kind of relax in its own right. Doesn't always, and that one white oak is one of the ones that came from over there. So it's the greenest. What do you want? Huh? What do you want? She said, I want attention. So anyway, it's lunchtime. We got one of our famous bowls of tomato soup. And we're getting down to the nitty gritty. We got just a handful of these left. Little girl, get off of me. Go on. I know you want. They want me. They come tell me, feed us, just as bad as those pigs. Feed us. They got plenty of food. They got a lot of food. When we went into the hives over there the other day, right after the cold snap, the unusual winter weather we had. Not that I didn't like it, but it was highly unusual. We got up into the 70s within a couple of days afterwards. So I pulled the girls out and I went through and I took a inspection on them. And you guys will come along with me when we go into that inspection. I want to see how things go. Put the pollen patties in there and set them up so that they can start really producing. But yeah, they like to come tell me. So anyway, there we are, lunchtime. I think we'll get this done. I'm not sure if I want to change that blade or not. Let's go over here and make an observation. And there are many observations that you have to make along the way. Let's see here. It's sharp, but it's not like it should be sharp. Now, that blade is in really good shape. It's taken us a couple of blades to settle in, to run in, adjusting. We've slowed down, so the push, when you're pushing through it, you got the really, really expensive bandsaw mills that will have a automatic drive, and it goes through at a certain rate, and that's not good either. Now, the issue that we were having with earlier, for whatever reason, that blade wanting to walk up, and I kept showing you that it was walking up. I'd back up and cut, and walk up, back up and cut. That hasn't done it in the last couple logs, so I'm thinking there's either something in the log that we had on that white oak log. I mean, one of those really white ones. Or, I don't know. It's just stuff that you have to pay attention to. Another thing that we've had to do, because of the weight of the logs and the weight shifting back and forth of this thing moving back and forth, we've had to adjust the legs and the level a couple of times. We've had to pay attention to it. Come over here one time, and this thing was just sitting loose. So that will affect your parallel. Your track could ride and twist as it goes. You don't want to do that. That could affect your cut. So lots of things that you got to pay attention to this. Fortunately, I know what to look for because I can apply my other skill sets and other masteries to this to know, oh, check this, check that, check this, check that. And I've actually been letting T get more into that. And you want to talk about a happy girl. She wasn't happy when we were bringing the logs over, because after a while those jokers get heavy. But anyway, time for lunch. We'll get back to it afterwards, clean up these last few logs, and I don't know what we'll do after that. I know we got a lot of planting to look into, or whether we're going to go ahead and try and get one of these big fat boys up on here, because that's going to be a challenge. I don't have a cant hook, PV cant hook. I like cant hook because, as that professional homeowner said, oh, those are the cants. Little girl, can you hear? No, the camera is not a flower. Not my face either. Go on. Go on. Those aren't the cants. The log that's sitting on your bed, that's your cant. And the hook that rolls it is your cant hook. Anyway. I mean, shoot, all you gotta do is watch enough YouTube videos to learn the lingo. Good gracious, it's not that hard. But anyway, there we go. Lunchtime. There's some updates, some things to look for. If any of you ever do this, or just want to learn the skill sets and the thinking and the mind think, and how you have to have your mind set up. I do like that Honda. Boy, she runs smooth. Although, what was it? Not Hondas. Not Kubotas. The motors that they put on the Lucas Mills. Those are really good motors too. I've never had dealing with a Honda, but having the opportunity to run it here, I'm really pleased. Okay, that's it. I'm gonna go eat. Whew. It's time to do the wrap up. Had to come up and get another cold liquid refreshment, my friends. And I grabbed the camera because I was trying to get this video somewhat worked on. You can see that pile of 8-foot 3x3s has grown. We've gotten a lot more done. And there's an old saying that I remember as a kid. I didn't come up with it, but y'all remember that one? Built like a brick shithouse. Well, it's about how this thing's going to be. Look how many posts there are. Nice shadow. So, holy shiznits, Batman. Them two lesbians are super women because they just did that. Look at that smell. Look at that damn log. I didn't want to record it because I wasn't 100%. I was only 99. Here, you hold that. You hold that. Tilt it down. There you go. I was only 99.93% sure that we would do this without looking like fools. And we did do it without looking like fools. But holy moly. You said we could. I said we could. We got it done, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
So look, on the last log or two, we took and went ahead and we don't have the cant hook, so we don't have the hook on it. But we milled out a couple of 2x2 pry bars, and then I made some ramps, and then we got that log, and you see I cut them on a slope so they'd sit just flat and flush and whatnot. And we prized and prized and prized it up onto there, and oh my God, it got up on there. What do you think of that, baby?
All right.
Don't let your war and tiredness hide all that excitement you got tucked away down there. Yeah. Boy.
I'm ready for a beer.
Here, you want it?
No, that's
You don't
okay.
like, you don't like the
That's
IPA.
yours.
Oh my goodness! So that pile is gone. Pay attention, honey. We're moving the scene around. She's too wore out. Look at that. This thing's 11 foot, almost 11 foot long. What I measure it?
About 11 foot. Little
I
over.
didn't need to cut it that long, but I did. Shadow. And so if we got this one up, the rest of them.
Those are gonna be easy.
Easier. I don't want to say a piece of cake, but easier. What?
I have to show everybody as we're waiting for Erin. There
it is,
is a 4-leaf. I just happened to glance down.
You're the 4-leaf clover magnet. Isn't that right, Shadow? So that's it. Oh no. We wanted to talk about that. So for the fun of it, shortly after lunch, I was just curious because lumber prices had gone up.
Oh yeah.
What did it matter, huh? Can you not get enough attention? Lumber prices have gone up. And what was it? The 8 foot.
8 foot 4x4s were like $15 for one.
Bucks. Well, plus a little bit for tax.
Yeah.
So about $15 for, and they're not really 4x4. They're 3.5 by 3.5.
Yeah.
And these are oak, not pine, oak. 3 1/8 to 3 1/4. I made them a little thick, so they're stronger than what you'd get. The only difference is they're not treated, mind you. They're not treated. But let's put it this way: the redwoods that wouldn't have been treated, what were those?
Those were
way
like
higher.
35.
They were really expensive. So the big question is this. Y'all dumb lesbians out here in the middle of the woods playing around with your toys, is it worth it? That's the big question. And I don't know. I'll just put it to you this way. Yes, we've gone through a couple of blades that maybe we shouldn't have because we're in a little bit of a learning phase with a new toy here. But now that we have completed just the 3x3s, and we've added a few more to it, we were over 500 in calculation.
Yeah.
From Lowe's. So if you went to Lowe's to get all of that, you're talking over 500. Okay. And then we got to cut these boards right here. In one buys, there's probably easily would be another 500 in one buys.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're not going to get oak, you're going to get pine. And it's my personal opinion, just my humble personal opinion. Is that a good one? Huh? Is that a good one? It's just my humble personal opinion that oak is better than pine. And I know there's some professional homeowners that like that pine better than they do. Well, I mean, each wood has its own benefit, but for structural purposes, if you're building something and you build something out of oak, it's going to be a lot stronger and whatnot. Anyway, just my personal issues here. But the point is this, by the time we get done, easily, especially when you start looking at these one buys, board foot wise, you're probably talking, $1,500 worth of wood in oak if you had to buy it minimum. So the bandsaw mill has just got here. It has only started to pay for itself, and by the time we get done in it, the amount of materials that we've pulled off our own land and will have turned into other stuff, and there's that red oak log and those red oak logs, and those red oaks are going to be absolutely turned into some wonderful apple presses, cheese presses, and some other wonderful homestead stuff. And then there's a few boards in here, in those one buys down there that we're going to have. that we can make some stuff out of. Be honest, honey. Have you not had a blast?
I've had fun.
You've had a lot of fun. You've done a bit of cutting. Now, you know, I tend to want to get it done. I'm grabbing and going because I'm thinking through the math and stuff. But I think a few more days of this, and you wouldn't need me down here, and you could make whatever you wanted to. Just about. So the only reason I make those plays on the lesbian, and normally I stay away from that topic, is because at certain homesteader, he says modern homesteading, but that certain professional homeowner likes to jab at women sometimes. Matter of fact, quite a bit. And every time T hears that well, if you're a woman and da 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 da, oh, she just goes, you know what? That's disrespectful to your wife. But anyway, women can do it. And I know I got a lot of women who watch this channel and don't for a fucking minute think you can't get anything done that you don't want to do. Because we're proof. We're proof. All right, baby. Anything you want to add to this long day?
No, I think I'm ready to call it quits.
Call it quits. We still got night chores to do and dinner to make and all that other normal stuff. Isn't that right, Shadow? Y'all, thanks for being along for the ride, and I just wish y'all could be here having the fun with us. You know, I've been wanting that community. Y'all get your butts here, and we all party and cut boards and make stuff and grow food and live life. Live life. Y'all be blessed. Keep us in your prayers, considering the stupidity in this world, and we'll catch you on the next one.